Hello?
Hello,
What is your name?
Salvador Loza.
Loza? Okay. We will be calling you shortly, okay? I just need to know who you were.
Okay.
You'll go back in the waiting room.
Hello,
Hello, who is this?
this is Stephen Smith.
Steve Smith.
Stephen Michael Smith. Yes, yes, ma'am.
I just needed to, I didn't recognize the number, so I needed to figure out who you were, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Go back in the waiting room for a bit.
Okay.
Where'd you go? Okay. Okay. Hello?
Hello,
Who are we speaking to?
Christina Duncan.
Okay, great. We'll be calling you in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello,
Who are we speaking to?
Sophia Simchik.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Sophia Simchik.
Okay. We'll be calling you in just a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
All right, good afternoon.
Afternoon. Richard Myers is in the waiting room if we want to start with him.
Okay, let's go ahead and call his case. Mr. Quintner, that's one of your matters, I see.
It is.
All right, Mr. Myers, I think you've unmuted your telephone. Can you hear us? All right, Mr. Myers, are you there?
Rick, can you hear
It looks like his speaker's on mute.
Hello? us? There you go. Can you hear me?
Hello, Mr. Myers. Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm having my phone's pretty beat up. I'm sorry.
All right, well, we can hear you now, Richard. This comes on for pretrial conference today. We are on the record. We are also on YouTube Live. I'm Judge Pro Tem Christopher Bates, presiding over a few conflict cases today. And Mr. Quintner, this is in the pretrial status. Have you and Mr. Penoyer worked things out, or what is the status today?
Well, yes and no, Your Honor. We're trying to just get the information that we need. I understand that Mr. Penoyer needs to see whatever evidence there is of Mr. Myers' compliance. We've subpoenaed his medical and treatment providers. I have received the medical records from Valley View. They were subpoenaed. I only provided those to Mr. Penoyer today, and it's an 80-page document. We have not heard from Lifeline, who's the treatment provider. So, while I would prefer to see the court recognized that this is a unusually wasteful use of city and court resources and find Mr. Meyer in compliance. I can also subpoena Lifeline for a show cause hearing so that they can show up and tell us why they haven't given us the documents we subpoenaed from them. So it just depends on what your honor would more like to see, a motion to dismiss or a show cause hearing.
So, if I may just briefly respond, I did get those medical records today. I'll take a look at them as soon as I have time. I'm also going to talk to law enforcement at the city and see what their stance on this is, because I also agree with Mr. Clifton. We don't want to keep coming back on this over and over and over again. So I'm going to get some feedback from them and see if there's maybe a way to cut through the Gordian knot here. Otherwise, but I think as a practical matter, we're going to have to continue to the next docket.
Right. How much time do you think you need, Mr. Penoyer, to review documents that have been provided and make contact with the city police to discuss this?
Oh, no, I can do it by next docket for sure, Judge. Which is January 20th, it looks like.
120, correct.
The 20th? Let me confirm with my calendar here.
And we do apologize for this dragging out, Judge. It's not our fault as such, but nonetheless, we appreciate you coming in.
I can do the 20th if we do it again at 12:30.
We can do that, and we'll agree, and I'll certainly make sure that it's prompt.
Okay. Well, Mr. Meyer, I think that for today concludes your case. The city needs to check on a few things, and the court will take this matter up again January 20th.
Okay, I'll mark it on my calendar here.
Okay, anything more regarding this matter?
No.
All right, well, Mr. Meyer, you are free to go and log off.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. And the Rogerson matter was set over. City versus Edward Taylor. Is Mr. Taylor present?
He has not logged on yet. I do have the other two that are on your docket, though. They're at arraignment status. But
Okay, and this is
I sent you.
on page 3 of the docket?
Yes.
Okay. The court will call for Pavi Fomencha.
I think it's Pamamanchon.
Pamamanchon. Okay.
Hello?
We have
Hello?
someone using the Samsung. Is that
Yes.
okay? Can the Samsung identify themselves?
Is there someone there on the line waiting for court?
Pardon me?
I said, is there some, I was trying to call out to the individual there. Is there anyone waiting for court?
I don't understand your question.
My question, I was asking the individual whose name is sitting there if they we're trying to get him to respond.
So I've sent him a message and asked him to start his video, hoping we would get a response. Doesn't look like audio is a problem. We do have Ms. Simchuk on the line too, so we can move
Well,
to.
let's pull Miss Simchuk in.
Okay.
All right, the court calls for Sophia Simchuk.
This is me.
Okay. Can you identify yourself on the record as to who you are?
My name is Sophia Simchuk.
Okay. Ms. Simchuk, you've asked this matter to come on to clear a bench warrant that was previously issued. And since you have appeared today, I will do so.
Mhm.
Does the court have a current address for Ms. Simchuk?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Well, you are also on for arraignment today, so I will issue an order to quash the bench warrant. That will be entered today. You are on for arraignment. You are charged with driving on a suspended license, suspended in the 3rd degree, meaning that you had eligibility to reinstate your license. Do you understand the charge against you?
Yes.
You do have rights in this court. You have a right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you at no charge. You have a right to speedy trial. You also have a right at trial to hear and question witnesses the city would bring to testify on its behalf, and you could bring witnesses to testify in your defense. If convicted at trial, you have a right to appeal any conviction to the Superior Court of Pacific County. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And at this point, we need to know what your plea is to the charge against you, guilty or not guilty.
When I spoke with the officer when I got pulled over, I wasn't aware that my license was suspended.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, Ms. Simchuk, but this is not a time to explain the
Oh,
situation or
okay.
the reason for the stop. So we just need to know if you plead guilty, are pleading guilty today or not guilty, and if you're pleading not guilty, would you like the court to consider appointing a public defender to represent you, or do you plan to hire your own attorney?
I'll plead guilty.
Okay,
Could I jump in real quick?
you may.
Miss Simchuk, I'm looking at her driving abstract, and she is currently licensed. So if she would be willing to accept it, I would offer an amendment to a no valid operator's license with a stipulated penalty of $175.
Okay. So Ms. Simchuk, what the prosecutor is saying, he's recognized by looking at your driving record. As of today, you are re-licensed.
Yes.
And you are essentially, you've done what the court would have wanted you to do. And the prosecutor is offering to amend this charge from a criminal violation to the infraction of no valid operator's license with identification. Would you like to accept that offer?
Yes.
Okay. With that said, the court will allow for the amendment. The charge is amended. And Ms. Simchuk, do you enter a plea of committed to that infraction?
Yes, I do.
Plea of committed is entered. A fine of $175 is imposed. And Ms. Simchuk, after court today, please make contact with the court clerk or go to the court's website where you will be able to obtain payment information.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking care of business today. That warrant will disappear at some point today. So you'll have a
Perfect.
clear
Thank
step.
you.
All
Thank
right. That concludes your case today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. You want to retry defendant Pavy Fomenchon. We have pulled in to our court a phone called the Samsung. If you can hear us, please identify yourself. If you can hear me, we cannot hear you. Madam Clerk. Okay, there we go. Your video. All right, sir, can you hear us? We cannot hear you. You may have to turn on your microphone. We cannot hear you. Madam Clerk, does this defendant live locally?
Yes, Raymond.
Okay. So Mr. Fomenchon, if you can hear me, I'm inclined to quash your bench warrant and set this case back on for arraignment if you will go to the South Bend Municipal Court Clerk's office and identify yourself, make sure we have a good address for you. It looks like we're connecting with audio, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, it looked like audio was connected. Okay, now you need to unmute your phone. It looks like your audio is connected. Madam Clerk, do you have the ability to unmute?
I do not have the ability to unmute him.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can finally hear you, yes.
Okay, okay.
All right. Can you please identify yourself?
Pavi Pamachan.
Okay. Sir, I've already made the decision to quash the bench warrant in your case. I will enter an order after court today. You're also here for an arraignment. You are charged with the crime of driving suspended in the 3rd degree.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
understand the charge against you?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Prosecutor, before I go too far, what is the defendant's license status today?
Jabs is still showing that it's suspended.
Okay.
So,
So,
I got something to say about that. So
okay.
I went on. I'm sorry, sir. Here, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me finish with your arraignment. So I've identified the crime you are charged with. You have rights in this court. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, you can be considered for a court-appointed attorney at no expense. You have a right to trial. You also have a right, if your case were to go to trial, to question the city's witnesses that would testify against you and to have witnesses testify in your defense. If convicted at trial, you have a right to appeal your conviction. And those are the rights that you have. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Understanding those rights, how do you plead to the crime of driving suspended 3rd degree? Guilty or not guilty?
I would like a lawyer.
Okay. I will take that as a plea of not guilty. And let me ask you this. Are you currently employed?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Madam Clerk, has he filled out a screening form yet?
No.
Okay. Sir, what I'd like you to do, I'll make a decision on whether or not to appoint a court-appointed attorney to represent you at no expense, but I'll need you to go to the court clerk's office, obtain a screening form, and fill that out so I can see if you are eligible or not.
Okay.
Judge, if I may interject, the reason you're hearing this is because I prosecuted him in Raymond, and he was eligible in Raymond for
Yes.
just
And so with that, right? And I squashed the warrant in Raymond.
Okay.
I did all that, and I'm waiting. Well, I went online. I checked it online, and it says the only thing that's holding me back is the South Pacific Courthouse, which is South Bend, right?
Okay. Well, I don't want you to say too much on the record because the prosecutor can use your statements against you.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and with the information provided by Mr. Penoyer, I will appoint our public defender to represent you. And you'll be provided with your attorney's contact information. You'll need to contact him before your next court date, which will be January 20th. And perhaps he can assist you with dealing with your licensing matters.
Yeah. Okay. But I had oh no, I was just checking online, right? Correct. Everything is online.
Yeah, you're welcome to do it that way, but since you've asked for a court-appointed attorney, it's expected that you'll reach out to that attorney prior to your next court date.
Okay.
Okay. And we will provide you with your attorney's contact information. I will go ahead and quash the warrant today. I have an order in front of me. I will get those to the clerk before the end of the day, and your case will be recalled on the 20th of January.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. And you can log out now.
Okay, Mr. Taylor has not logged on yet, so he was sent a notice on December 18.
It was also advised at his last court date of his new court date, so is the city requesting a warrant?
We would leave it up to the court's discretion at this time.
Okay,
I
I know we've issued one in the past. The court will go ahead and issue a bench warrant in the amount of $1,000.
Okay, and that's it for you, Chris.
Okay, well, gentlemen and Madam Clerk, I will see you on the 20th.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I have Mr. Hinton on. And Mr. Nunez, so can we start with them?
You're muted, John, if you're trying to talk.
Got it, thank you. We'd have to get Pete if we're gonna have Mr. Nunez, that's an interpreter case.
Good afternoon, folks.
Hello, Pete.
Mr. Nunez, can you hear us?
Sí.
Okay. Everybody's on then? Great. My name is Will Penoyer. I'm the judge for the city of South Bend, and we are here for a pretrial for two cases for Ivan Silva Nunez. It looks like actually only one of the cases is criminal. It's a DUI along with some infractions that go along with it. So,
Señor Silva, ¿me escucha bien?
Sí.
Ok, ahora está hablando el juez. Espérese tantito, okay?
Okay.
So we do have Mr. Silva on the line, Your Honor. And good afternoon. For the record, this is Pete, state certified court interpreter for the Spanish language with a current and permanent file on oath, current and permanent oath on file with AOC. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Hinton. All right. So we're on for pretrial. So I'll ask either the prosecutor or defense attorney to let us know what's going on with the case.
All right, Your Honor, we're pretty much on the precipice of a resolution. I've got an offer from Mr. Duncanson that is acceptable to my client, although I can't be positive of that until we have a place to talk with him where there's no noise interference. We've had the experience so far of talking to him a half hour or so before court. He's at work and it's real noisy. So Mr. Hinton and I made a date with him for this Friday so we can talk about the offer in depth. He did indicate from what Mr. Hinton was able to get across to him that it's acceptable to him. So I ask that we set this out one more time and we will enter a plea most likely in the next docket.
Okay. My only inquiry would be as to speedy trial. I think we're okay, but I can't recall exactly.
Oh,
When he was
Your Honor, can I catch Mr. Silva up to date with what counsel said?
Oh, of course. I'm sorry.
Ya. Señor Silva, el licenciado estaba explicando al juez que parece que tenemos una resolución. Te están ofreciendo una rebaja en la acusación y parece que lo vas a aceptar, pero tenemos una cita para hablar más de eso en privado el viernes cuando no hay tanta bulla. Pero parece que parece bien la oferta, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Señor? Yeah, okay. Espérate tantito. So, Your Honor, I brought him up to date and confirmed that he did like what he heard so far. And I would confirm that conversation that I had with Mr. Quintner and his client. It was extremely noisy. He was on the job. So we're going to speak again this Friday at 11 o'clock. The gentleman will not be working. And we should have a private conversation. He did confirm that he likes what he has heard so far. Thank you.
Okay. I appreciate that. I just wanted to confirm that we didn't have a speedy trial issue.
He was arraigned on 10/21.
Okay.
We're coming right down to the wire.
That puts us into January 21, does it not?
Pardon me?
Doesn't that put us at January 21st then for the 90 days?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and I cannot recall those rules. I don't have it in front of me. There's those rules about good cause and continuances due to coronavirus. But I cannot recall that to memory right now. So I don't know, Mr. Duncanson, do you have anything to add to this?
I would ask if Mr. Quintner could get a speedy trial waiver.
Well, it's not a problem. I can do that, though I won't be able to address it with him until this Friday. And I'm assuming that there's a reliable way that I could transmit a document to him. I don't know that yet, but I have to assume that's the case. So I'll address that with him Friday.
Yeah. Señor Silva, están hablando de las fechas para juicio. Estamos llegando al fondo de los 90 días. ¿Estaría dispuesto a firmar una extensión legal para resolver el caso en el futuro?
Sí.
Okay. So, Your Honor, Mr. Silva indicates that, and counsel, that he would be willing to sign a waiver. And, Your Honor, I don't know if I can enlighten the court at all, but last Tuesday I was in Centralia, and my understanding from the dialogue there was that no jury trials are being scheduled for any reason until further notice. and that there is some time tolling due to the pandemic, but I'm not sure of the dates, not being an attorney.
Right. I went over this once before, but what I can say is that I know that we didn't even have anywhere to hear jury trials until I think yesterday. We finally have somewhere we can even have them. So I think there's more than enough good cause here to get over the 90-day issue. I just wanted to make sure I was making my record and being careful here.
Yeah. In any event, he did confirm he would sign a waiver, John. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then we're going to reschedule to January 20th.
So I'm sorry, going out to the 20th?
Yes.
Okay. So, señor, vamos a tener otra corte el día 20 de enero. Mientras tanto, vamos a hablar con usted este viernes a las 11. ¿Está bien?
Sí.
So he understands we'll have another court date on the 20th, Your Honor. That will have to be at 12:45 for me, obviously. And in the meantime, Mr. Quinton and I will talk with his client this Friday at 11.
Well, Mr. Hinton, we're always happy to accommodate your schedule. You've been very available to us and gracious in that respect. So that would be fine with me.
Thank you, Your Honor. So is that it on this case? Tell the gentleman he can disconnect as far as we know.
As far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Señor, ya es todo para hoy. Vamos a hablar el viernes a las 11 con usted en privado con el abogado y la próxima corte el día 20 a la misma hora, ¿ok?
Ok.
Ya puede colgar. Muchas gracias.
Sí.
Okay. Okay, so he's disconnected, and I believe that was the only interpreter matter, to my knowledge.
Madam Clerk, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, well, in that case, Mr. Hinton, thank you very much for your help today.
My pleasure, folks. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, counsel. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too.
Would you like to start with our arraignments next?
I don't know if the attorneys have anything that any preferences.
Yeah, I'd like to get Mr. Prinesberger out of the way because we had, Mr. Duncanson and I had agreed that that would be continued 2 weeks. Mr. Prinesberger is we have a resolution agreed, but he's having some pretty serious life complications. His wife is in the hospital, and he asked me if we could continue this hearing without his presence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with continuing it without his presence, as long as his attorney can represent that that's acceptable to him. We'll just bump this out to the 20th. I'm not going to worry too much about speedy trial because of the general issues we already addressed, although I think that his case was fairly recent.
I do want to add to speedy trial things. I was just looking at the Supreme Court order issued back in October, and speedy trial was told from May 29th to October 15th, but then after October 15th, 2020, courts may further exclude time under these rules based on individual findings of unavoidable circumstances due to COVID-19.
Okay.
So I would say our unavoidable circumstances, we can't have jury trials until yesterday, and even that it's 30 days.
We have unavoidable circumstances due to COVID-19. Thank you, Mr. Duncanson. Okay, you guys don't have anything else you want to take in any particular order?
If Mr. Coma is waiting, I could take that one.
Yeah, unless Madam Clerk cares, I don't care.
No, I don't care. I don't have him on right now.
Okay, well, who do we have on?
I have Miss Odom is on.
Miss Odom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is that all right? We call that one, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Right, we are now waiting for Alyssa Odom to join us here in court. I see what appears to be a number. There's no name attached to it, but it has a mute on it. So I don't know if that individual needs to turn their mute off.
asking them to.
That is Ms. Odom's number.
Okay. Well, then as soon as she's on, we'll talk about it.
Hello?
Hi, is this Alyssa?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Will Penoyer, judge for the city of South Bend. Your case is on for pretrial today. We have this on also, it looks like, for a jury trial readiness hearing. The attorneys, where are we at?
So I've spoken with Mr. Quitner about this, and I'm still having trouble reaching a hold of the alleged victim and another potential witness of the case. At this time, since it's been dragging out for quite a while, I would move to dismiss this without prejudice.
I have no objection to it being dismissed without prejudice. I have not discussed the meaning of without prejudice with my client yet, but I'm happy to do so.
Well, I'm just going to say this. I'm the judge, and Will Penoyer again. The prosecuting attorney has the discretion to dismiss a case whenever they decide to dismiss a case, and I cannot force them to pursue it. They are under a different, it's a separation of powers issue here. So all I can do really is accept their motion to dismiss without prejudice. Now, to Ms. Odom, what without prejudice means is that they're dismissing it, but they could refile it in the future. I'm not saying they will, and frankly, I have very rarely seen people do that. But it is a possibility, and he's simply reserving that possibility. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I think so. It's breaking up a lot, but I think.
Okay.
I can't really hear.
I sympathize, ma'am. I understand. All I'm saying is that it's going to be dismissed, but he could refile it at some point in the future. Okay?
Okay.
Did you understand that?
It could be violated or what?
Okay, the case is being dismissed, but it could be refiled. It could be refiled by the prosecutor. It probably won't.
Okay. Okay.
And if you have any questions about that, just talk to your lawyer after court. They'll
okay.
But the bottom line is your case is dismissed, and you're free to go.
Great. Thank you very much.
No problem. You have a good afternoon.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, gentlemen. So, what have we got next?
We have our arraignments, and then our two that bench orders were ordered last session, and they called and rescheduled. So the bench warrant's not issued, so it's not technically a quash, but they are on for arraignment.
Okay. So normally with arraignments, I would do that thing where, you'd read it all to everybody at once and then go through individual ones. However, I wasn't real thrilled with the results of that when we were on the phone. I think that just creates a cacophony and does not make for a good record. So I appreciate that it's a little tedious, but I would ask that everybody be patient while I go through these individually, okay? So Gina Ballesteros.
We have not had contact with her.
Okay. Number two.
Her notice both came back in the mail. It was mailed to multiple addresses, and they all came back. So.
Okay. Duncan. Is Duncan here? It looks like we don't have the report.
She is, yes.
Okay, well, we can take care of that quickly.
Hello?
Hello, is this Christina Duncan?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Miss Duncan. My name is Will Penoyer. I'm the judge for the city of South Bend.
Okay.
And you have a case here today for arraignment. apparently it's a charge of no valid operator's license without identification, or what
Yep.
we call in shorthand NVOL1. It's a pretty minor crime as they go, but apparently I don't have the police reports yet. The police, I guess the case, they have not had them written up yet, or they're being reviewed by the supervisor.
I sent them over.
You did?
Have them.
Oh, okay. I just have the notes on my docket here. Perhaps I need to look more closely. Okay, well, it looks like my staff did not print it out. When did you send that, Lisa?
Hour before court, maybe.
Okay.
Check. 11:40.
11:40. Okay. It did not show up in my email. Or, yeah, at any rate, I don't have it. I'm not saying it's anyone's fault.
I'll resend it.
Appreciate your patience, ma'am. I don't have the police reports yet.
Okay.
I just sent it again.
They're emailing them over to me right now so I can read them. I wonder if we shouldn't just recall this case. I hate to have you wait, ma'am, but I do need to have those before I can go forward. So we're going to have to put you on hold, call you back in a few minutes.
Okay, that's fine.
I appreciate your patience. Thank you. And Madam Clerk, you sent that to me?
I just sent it again, yes.
Okay. My email may be being strange, you know. Checking in spam to make sure it didn't go there. I mean, I got emails up to 12:58. Not showing up. Okay, well, I guess let's move on to another one for now, and I'll just keep checking. I don't know what else to do.
Couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry, what?
I could not hear you.
Oh, my apologies. I said I'll just wait. I guess I'll just go on to the next one, and hopefully it'll show up in my email shortly.
Okay.
It-
The next, oops.
Sorry, not to interrupt you, Madam Clerk. I just forwarded it to you, Will, to see if you got mine. The email I got from 1140 had it going to penoyerlaw@gmail.
Oh, not at Comcast?
Yeah.
Oh, Comcast.net is the one I normally use. Gmail's sort of a backup one, but that may be my fault. I may have gotten that in there on accident.
No,
Sometimes, you know, I make the
shouldn't be
mistake of
sending
responding from there or something, you know?
that was my mistake. I shouldn't be sending
Yeah,
it.
but that's my fault too. I'm for creating any confusion. I apologize. So Killian, you sent it to the Comcast email?
Yes.
Okay.
Joy just responded that she got it, so.
Okay, well, I don't have it. Could you, I guess since I'm sitting here, can you just ask Joy to print it out for me? Or I can, I'll tell you what, I'll just go ask her to print it out for me.
Zoom.
Thank you very much. Right, thanks for your patience, everybody. I am back, and I just got Miss Duncan's file. don't know if we want to call another case or just call her in while I look through this. Up to the clerk.
Do you want to hear another case while you're
Well,
trying?
why don't we just do another one? And I'll glance through this while I'm going through the other one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Steve Smith.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, is this Steve Smith?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Mr. Smith. My name is Will Penoyer. I am the judge for the city of South Bend. And you were
Okay.
before me for an arraignment.
Yes, sir.
I released you from jail over the weekend, it looks like.
Yes, sir.
And you're here for arraignment today, so I am just going to go through the charging document, tell you what you're charged with, tell you your rights, and then give you the opportunity to ask for an attorney if you would like to have one appointed or if you're going to hire one, okay?
Yes, sir. I'd like to have a returning, please.
Okay, well, we'll get to that point, but I'm just letting you know what we're doing here today.
Okay.
I got a script I got to go through here. And I will let you know, I've already read the police report and found probable cause in this case for the charges. And I am going to, I did a pretrial release order where I simply told you not to go to 517 East Water or to communicate with Judith Bird or James Christensen. I am going to do a pretrial no contact order as well. I'll put that together after court. Basically, as long as this case is open until the order's been dropped and you know it's been dropped, you're to stay away from Judith Bird, okay?
Yes, sir.
James Christensen. All right. So you are charged with assault in the fourth degree, DV, and that was alleged to have happened in the city of South Bend on December 29th, 2020. The alleged victim is Judith Bird. The maximum punishment possible in this case is a $5,000 fine and 364 days in jail. That's not the normal punishment, that's the maximum punishment. You have the following right: the right to remain silent. That means you don't have to say anything about the offense or offenses today or in the future. The right to be defended by a lawyer and have the lawyer present at all hearings, including this one. If you've already been over that, you do want to have one appointed for you. You have the right to have your guilt decided by a jury where you're presumed innocent, and they're to consider you innocent until the prosecuting attorney has proved that you are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to present evidence and to be present when it's presented. You have the right to call witnesses to testify for you at no expense to you. You can testify if you want, or you can remain silent. You have the right to a speedy trial within 90 days of when you are out of jail. If you're found guilty at a trial, you can appeal that. If you were to plead guilty, then you are no longer able to appeal that decision. I've already been over the charge. I've reviewed the probable cause. Do you understand your rights, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. So at this point, would you like to plead not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay. And sir, before I appoint you an attorney, I need to inquire as to your financial situation.
I'm on Social Security.
Okay. You don't have any other source of income?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. Then you qualify. I'm going to appoint Jonathan Whitner as your attorney. And I am going to put this case on the docket for January 20th. You'll be given Mr. Whitner's contact information. And you'll get a hold of.
I'm going to have a conflict on this case.
Oh, you are?
I represented the alleged victim recently.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I thought that sounded familiar. Well, I apologize, Mr. Smith. It turns out I'm going to have to appoint someone else because of the normal defense attorney had recently represented Ms. Bird.
Okay.
So we'll get to someone else on the case. I've got a couple of people that we usually appoint. We'll send you information on them as soon as we have it, okay?
Okay.
Given that, I wonder if we shouldn't bump this case out a month rather than 2 weeks, Madam Clerk, so that we can get that sorted out.
Sure.
So why don't we set this for February
10.
February 10th. And as I said to Mr. Smith, we'll get you a appointed attorney. And we'll also, I'm going to enter a no contact order that we'll get a copy of. We'll get it to you. And I think you understand who you're not to be in contact with, where you're not to go. Other than
Yep,
that,
yep.
you know not to have any dangerous weapons, or not drink any intoxicating liquors, or use any drugs except prescribed by a physician.
Yeah.
You'll be back on February 10th, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And I got general delivery is my address.
Okay,
But you get the, you do,
South Bend.
but you do go and pick up your mail, sir?
Yep, a general delivery.
Okay, but you pick it. I understand that, but a lot of people, when they say general delivery, they don't really use it. I'm saying that's actually.
Oh, I use it. I'll
Okay.
use it.
Perfect. That's what we needed to know. All right.
Okay.
We'll get that.
Thank you.
But it's going to be February 10th, same time by the phone. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
Yep. Bye-bye. Yep. You too. Bye. Wow.
All right. I didn't get to read Duncan yet because that was all going very quick. I'm going to skim through it. Okay, I've reviewed Miss Duncan's case. You want to call her back? Miss Duncan?
Yes.
Okay, Will Penoyer, Judge. Thanks for your patience. I've reviewed your police reports now. I've reviewed the probable cause statement. So we can go ahead with arraignment now.
Okay.
You are charged, we already talked about that, in DOL 1. So I'm going to go through your rights now, okay?
Okay.
Well, first off, I'll let you know that the maximum punishment for this crime is 90 days in jail and $1,000 fine. That's not likely what you're going to get. I'm just telling you that's what the maximum is, okay?
Okay.
All right. You have the following rights: the right to remain silent, the right to be defended by a lawyer and have the lawyer present at all hearings, including this one. You can hire your own attorney, or if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. You have the right to have your guilt decided by a jury. The jury trial begins with you being presumed innocent, and then the judge is to tell the jury they are to consider you innocent until the prosecuting attorney can prove your guilt to them beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to be present when evidence is being presented to the jury, so you can see, hear, and question witnesses called against you. You have the right to present your own evidence and call your own witnesses at no expense to you. You may also testify if you choose, but obviously have the right to remain silent. You have the right to a speedy trial. That means your trial, if you're out of custody, must begin within 90 days if you enter a not guilty plea from that date. If you're found guilty, of course, at trial, you cannot appeal that issue. But if you're found guilty after a trial, you can appeal that. But if you plead guilty, then you cannot appeal that. You plead guilty, you give up all your rights except the right to have a lawyer assist you. And I've reviewed the police reports, and I've found that there is probable cause for the crime, probable cause for the case to go forward. And what I mean by that is there are facts sufficient in the report to support the charge. I'm not finding you guilty. I'm just saying there's enough there for the case to go forward. Do you understand what you're charged with and what the maximum punishment is?
Yes, I lost my ID and my license got expired because I moved up here to.
You don't need to tell me about the specifics of your case. I just need to make sure you understand what I said.
Yes, I do.
The reason I'm interrupting you is because I just don't want you to waive any of your rights to remain silent. I don't want you to say anything that could be used against you. Okay?
Okay.
What I can tell you is you understand your rights that I've read to you?
Yes.
Okay. And so at this point, do you want to plead guilty or not guilty, or would you like to talk to an attorney before you enter your plea?
I am guilty because I was driving with no ID and I shouldn't have.
Okay. I appreciate your honesty, ma'am. I guess before I just accept your guilty plea, I wonder, Mr. Dunkerson, I'm asking the prosecutor, do you know if this individual, Ms. Duncan, has obtained her license?
So I was taking a look at that. She does not appear to have her license yet, but she is eligible.
Ms. Duncan, are you aware of that?
Yes, I do. It's just I moved from Oregon to Washington and I was trying to switch everything over and all this COPA stuff. I don't know how to get on the line, and I don't know how to do all that stuff. I'm disabled.
Ms. Duncan, what I'm really asking you is, I hate to take a guilty plea from you on this charge when there's when you could probably get this cleaned up pretty easily, and then generally speaking, our prosecutor, if you get your license, he'll knock it down to an infraction, and it'd be a better deal for you. So what I'm wondering, do you think if we gave you a month, you'd be able to get your license?
Yes, I'm trying to do it. I just don't know how to do it online.
Okay.
So.
I can't give you that advice, mainly because I don't really know, but I understand that there's supposed to be stuff on the Department of Licensing website. I don't know how helpful it is, but
yeah, just have somebody help me. I'll try to figure out. Yeah.
So what I'm going to suggest in this case, if Mr. Duncanson has no problem with it, we'll just do a continued arraignment on this case. We'll come back in a month. And if Ms. Duncan at that point still hasn't gotten her license and she still wants to plead guilty, then she can do that. If she has obtained her license, Mr. Duncanson, I'm assuming you'd be willing to recommend an amendment to an infraction and a lower fine?
Yeah. And I will just say that I am sympathetic to Ms. Duncan. I had to change my license over from Oregon to Washington when I moved back, and it was a colossal pain, and that was before COVID.
Mr. Duncanson, could you tell her what she's looking at as terms of fines if she pleads guilty versus if she gets her license back?
If you enter a plea of guilty, like as the judge had mentioned, the maximum penalty is $1,000, so we could go up as high as that. General fines I usually ask somewhere in the realm of $300 to $350, but if it's amended to an infraction, you're looking at more like $175.
So you're probably going to get half off on this if you can get your license, Ms. Duncan. You understand?
Yes.
So maybe this doesn't seem like a normal court to you. We're just trying to keep you from pleading guilty. But we really do want people to get their licenses. We want to encourage people to do that so that you don't have to.
I want my driver's license. I'm just having issues trying to get it because of all this stuff.
I get it. I get that you're trying. I know it's hard to get it's illegal. You can't drive, but I know how it can be hard in a small town to get around without a rig. So we'll come back on February 10th, as I said, and hopefully you'll have your license by then. Okay.
Okay.
Same time, you call in, same thing you did today, okay?
Okay, so just save my paperwork?
No, you'll get paperwork.
Yeah, do you have an updated address for her?
Yes.
Okay, so she'll send you notice of your next hearing, but it's what I just told you.
Okay.
And just do your best to get your license before then, okay?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Next, you want to do Salvador Loza?
Sure. I assume April Johnson is not available?
Yeah, she's not.
Okay.
Not in the waiting room.
Okay. Then Salvador Loza it is. Hello, is this Salvador Loza? Hello, sir? Can you hear me? I'm wondering if his microphone's not on or something.
I can hear you guys now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you guys a bit ago.
Okay, your name is Salvador Loza?
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Loza. My name is Rick Neuer, and I'm the judge for the city of South Bend.
Okay.
All right. You're here today in our court for an arraignment. That means your first appearance on a charge from 2018. Criminal trespass, first degree. So that is a gross misdemeanor, Mr. Loza. That means that the maximum penalty is $5,000 fine, 364 days in jail. That's the maximum. I'm not saying you get that. That's just the maximum. Okay. And I've reviewed the police reports and I find probable cause for the case to go forward. And what that means is that I think there's enough evidence in the police reports to support the charge. That does not mean that I find you guilty. It just simply means there's enough there for the case to move forward. Okay.
Okay.
So during this hearing, I'm going to advise you of your charges and ask you to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty at the end and see about if you need to have an attorney appointed. Okay?
Okay.
Do you understand everything I'm saying so far?
Yes.
Great. I assume you don't need an interpreter, right?
No.
Great. I don't mean to be insulting. I'm just being careful for everybody.
Yeah.
So you have the following rights: the right to remain silent. That means you don't have to say anything about the offense or offenses today or in the future. The right to be defended by a lawyer and have the lawyer present at all hearings. The right, you can hire a lawyer, or if you cannot afford an attorney, we can have one appointed for you. You have your right to have your guilt decided by a jury. The jury must find that you are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have a right to be present when evidence is called used against you or presented to the jury. So you can sit in here, question witnesses against you. You can call witnesses to testify for you at no expense to you. You can also testify if you want, but you do not have to. The fact that you remain silent cannot be used against you. You have the right to a speedy trial within 90 days since you're not in jail. And if you're found guilty at a trial, you can appeal that finding. However, if you plead guilty, you can only appeal limited matters, not very much. So we've already been over what you're charged with, that I found probable cause. Do you understand your rights that I've read to you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And given this information, at this point, did you want to plead guilty, not guilty, talk to an attorney?
I want to talk to an attorney first.
Of course. Can you afford your own attorney?
No.
Okay. What's your monthly income?
I'm unemployed right now.
You're unemployed?
Yes.
Okay. When have you last worked?
November.
You don't have to give me an exact date, man. I just want a rough idea.
Like November.
Okay. What kind of work were you doing?
Fish work. I was working at a cannery.
Which one?
In Astoria.
Okay. Are you able to get work again? Does it look like there's going to be work back there again for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
supposed to start up pretty soon.
Okay, great. All right. Well, look, I'm going to find that you are qualified for an attorney, and I'm going to appoint John Quickner, our public defender, to represent you. The only release condition I'm going to impose on you is just not to go to the South Bend school.
Okay.
And that?
Yes.
Because that's how this whole case started, right? So that's, at least that's what they're alleging.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm going to set this hearing over for January 2020. So we'll come back in 2 weeks, Mr. Rosa, at the same time on the phone like this, but you'll talk to your lawyer before court, okay?
How do I get my lawyer's info?
We're going to mail that to you. Can you confirm your address?
One moment, please. Giovanni, ¿no está la dirección de por aquí? It's 1137 Cedar Street.
Okay.
Raymond, Washington.
Is that what you have, Madam Clerk?
No, in fact, I was going to ask for a good one because.
Okay. Well, then that's where you. So that's if we send you mail there, you'll get it there.
Yes.
Do you have a pen with you? Do you have a pen handy?
No, but I can look for one real quick.
Giovanni, give him your contact information, Mr. Quickman.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
Couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was just gonna give him your number, man.
I just want to bring this to the court's attention. I'm looking at Mr. Loza's criminal history, and it looks like he has a current charge out of Raymond Municipal.
Yes, you're right. And we have not had court in Raymond since that was put in. So when I have conflicts, my usual policy is whichever one was first is the one I keep, right? So I may be asking you to sub on that one too, Mr. Duncan, if you're willing.
All right, yeah, I'm willing.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Unfortunately, this has happened a few times lately. All right, Mr. Loza, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Your lawyer is named John, and his last name is Quitner.
Quitner?
Yeah, Quittner.
All right.
And 360
360
642
642
3139.
3139.
You got it.
All right.
Give him a
Thank
call
you.
tomorrow. Give him a call tomorrow, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all for today. Then we're on for the 20th, and we'll see you then, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Again, thank you, Mr. Duncan. I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm going to have to set up some sort of conflict sheet between the two cities, because Mr. Quitner reminded me of one today. So thanks to him.
So we have Mr. Nava and Mr. Medina left. I'll bring
Okay,
in
so no
Mr.
one left on
Medina.
the arraignments, huh?
Pardon me?
No more arraignments?
Well, these guys are at arraignment status. They're the ones that the bench warrants were ordered for, but we didn't issue them because they were scheduled.
Oh, what, Mr. Martin, is the jail going to have him appear?
No, I even emailed him his notice and received no response.
Okay. All right. So whatever one's next.
Mr. Medina?
All right. All right, Mr. Medina, can you hear me okay?
Hello?
Hi, Mr. Medina, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Medina. Yes, I could hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Mr. Medina. Okay.
Sure.
Mr. Medina, my name is Will Penoyer, and I'm the judge for the city of South Bend. And you are here today appearing on a disorderly conduct / public intoxication charge. Basically, Mr. Medina, I'm going to go through your rights with you today. Get you an attorney appointed if necessary, and just basically do the beginning stuff. Okay.
Sure. One thing I have to kind of mention is that is there really a difference between just because me and my friend, we weren't really like out publicly intoxicated. I don't think, because we were just got to the park.
So, it's Medina, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Medina, this is the first appearance in your case. This is called arraignment. And this isn't the time to actually like argue your case or to go over the facts of your case. If you think that you're not guilty, what I'm going to recommend to you is that you get an attorney, that you ask for an attorney or hire an attorney and then talk to them about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we don't just have the hearing today. This is just your first appearance. Okay. I appreciate that. It may be that you are innocent. I don't know. We'll find out. So Jose Medina, that's your real name?
Juan Medina.
Juan Medina. For some reason I thought it was Jose. I apologize. So Mr. Medina, what you were charged with is disorderly conduct / intoxicated in public. The allegation is that you were basically drinking in the park behind Bud's Lumber with one of your friends and having some kind of party. I'm not saying that's true or not true. That's what the police report alleges, okay? And
Yep.
I've read the police report, and what I've done is I've reviewed it and found probable cause to go forward. And what that means is not that I found you guilty, because I haven't. It just means that I've reviewed it and there's enough information here, enough facts to support a charge of drunken public. But that doesn't mean you're going to be found guilty. So, Mr. Medina, you have the following rights: the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything about the offense today or in the future. That's why I was cautioning you to not talk about it too much at the start today. The right to be defended by a lawyer and have a lawyer present at your hearings. The right to have your guilt decided by a jury, the presumption of innocence, and the jury has to find beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed the crime. You have the right to be present when evidence is presented to the jury, so you can see, hear, and question any witnesses called against you. You have the right to have witnesses testify for you at no expense to you. You can testify in court if you want to, but you can remain silent as well. If you choose to remain silent, that can't be held against you. You have the right to a speedy trial within 90 days of today, the day you enter a not guilty plea. If you're found guilty at trial, you have the right to appeal. If you are not found guilty, if you plead guilty, on the other hand, you don't have a right to appeal that. You are charged with disorderly conduct. That's a standard misdemeanor under the city code. So the maximum penalty is 90 days in jail and $1,000 fine. That's the maximum, not what you're likely to get. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I've read to you so far?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. I assume you're wanting to plead guilty. Not guilty.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. And you'd like to have an attorney appointed for you?
Is it a cost to me, or is it?
Well, that's the question. If you can't afford an attorney, if your income is low enough, then we appoint you at no cost.
Okay.
So what is your monthly income?
Before taxes, or I think 2,400 before taxes.
Okay. You know how much you take home?
1,000 take home gross.
You take home 1,000 out of 24.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about every 2 weeks. 2,000. Sorry about that.
Do you take care of anyone besides yourself?
No. I
I
have my rent and things like that.
Madam Clerk, I don't have the qualification sheet in front of me, but it seems like that's sort of high. Do you recall what the limit was for a single individual?
I think it was right around that. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I'm inclined to just let him qualify on this. It's borderline. I understand the attorney's expensive. I just didn't have the limits in front of me right now. I should have that in front of me in the future.
Looks like it's 1,800.
Okay. Do you live by yourself? Do you pay rent?
Yes.
You pay rent?
Yes.
Okay. Do you live alone?
Yeah, I live by myself.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to find that you qualify. It's possible that the city could order you to pay a small amount of money back for your attorney, but most likely we're not going to do that. You're just right on the borderline. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So your attorney, you're going to be appointed Jonathan Quickner as your attorney, and he is our public defender, and we're going to mail you his contact information. We're going to set this for court on our next court date, which is January 20th. At the same time, you'll get in, you'll talk to your attorney before that, and he'll talk to the prosecutor. Let's see here. Do you have any questions for me?
I suppose just that. So anything that I would have any concerns or anything that I would have to mention would be just basically bring it to him, to the attorney.
Correct. But if you think that, if you think that, he'll keep and go over the police reports with you and show you what's alleged. If you think that it is, something's funky or something concerns you, you can talk to him about that and he'll advocate on your behalf. And that's basically the long and short of it. Mr. Quicker, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I just appointed you to Mr. Medina's case. I'm just gonna tell you now that there's a companion case for a guy named Alexander Nava. And basically these two cases were kind of charged at the same time.
Okay.
I just appointed you to Mr. Medina. The issue is basically that the two of them were, for lack of, intoxicated in public, having a party at the park together. So what I'm asking you, Mr. Quitner, is do you see any conflict with representing both of them, or should I try to get a different attorney?
I'll have to talk to Mr. Medina about that. You know, it's a matter of whether their interest is the same or isn't.
Well, how about this, Mr. Quitner? I'm going to appoint you on both, assuming Mr. Nava has the same financial situation and everything.
Yeah, we'll see which one of these guys I like better.
Oh, there you go.
That's a joke, Mr. Medina. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and let's do that. And then if you see a conflict, Mr. Quitner, please let us know. We'll make sure to appoint somebody different from Mr. Nava. Okay.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Mr. Medina, that makes sense to you?
Sure. So kind of speak with him and then rejoin back in January 20, I think you said, right?
Got it. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that, normally when there's two people in the same case, a lot of times, the lawyer has a conflict. I'm just trying to figure out if he has any conflict here. Probably not. I don't think your interests are divergent here, but if they are, then we got to do something different. So at any rate, you'll have the same attorney and we'll be back here.
I understand.
Okay. All right. That's all we got for today.
One last question. So then will I have to wait for a letter in the mail for another Zoom conference for passcode or things like that? Or do I get that stuff how do I get in contact with the attorney?
When you get Mr. Quitner's contact information in the mail, I assume you'll also receive the Zoom information from the clerk. Is that correct?
Okay. Okay.
I'm asking the clerk. Is that right, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay. And if you've got a pen, I can give you Mr. Quitner's number right now.
Absolutely. Yep. What's the phone number?
I have to ask Mr. Medina, where is that? It looks like a cozy place.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just in my thinking room, you know.
I just like the looks of it. That's why I was saying it looks cozy.
Thank you. I do a lot of thinking in here.
It's good to have a place to think.
I'm actually a student, so this is my study area.
There you go. You got to have somewhere quiet where you can focus. That's awesome, man. John's number is 360 642 3139.
3139.
Yeah, his name is John, and I'll give you his last name. Whitner. Q as in quality, U as in quality, sort of. I-T-T-N-E-R.
Whitner. Okay.
All right. We will see you back here on the 20th. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I'll write everything down.
Happy thinking, Mr. Medina.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I wish I had a thinking room.
Two.
Wouldn't that be nice?
We'll bring in Mr. Nava now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Nava.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot there, Mr. Courtney. My suspicion is that they'll probably be okay, but you never know.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. Mr. Nava, can you hear me? All right. Mr. Nava, can you hear me? There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, Mr. Nava, my name is Will Penoyer. I'm the judge for the city of South Bend. And you're here today on arraignment for the charge of disorderly conduct / intoxication in public, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that is this is just your first appearance today. I'm just going to read you your rights. probably get you an attorney appointed, then explain the charge to you, okay? So first off, the charge you have is under the South Bend Municipal Code, and it's a standard misdemeanor, meaning that the maximum penalty is 90 days in jail and $1,000 fine. That's the maximum. It's not what you're likely to get. It's just the maximum, okay? I've reviewed the police reports, and I found that there is probable cause for the case to go forward. That does not mean that I found you guilty. It just means that I've reviewed the police reports, and I think there's enough information in there to support the charge. It'll be up to your attorneys to determine whether or not that is actually going to be something you're found guilty of in the court system. So I'm going to go through your rights now. You have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything